Welcome. We're here for a conversation with Albert Rooyakkers, CTO and co-founder of Bedrock Automation. Thanks for coming.
It's good to be back, Mark.
All right. So last year you told us a lot of great things you were going to do for the 2016 year.
Yes.
And tell us where you are on those things.
Yeah, it was really quite a fantastic year. A couple years ago was our first time here, and we were still just coming out of stealth mode. And then last year we started shipping our first products. This year we've really become quite an integrated company, and we have an end-to-end supply chain and manufacturing and assembly and test, and we have channel partners, and we have an infrastructure that really makes us capable of delivering open, secure automation solutions to the market. So at this point, we've got 30 channel partners in North America. We have shipped just recently our 1,000th module, which is quite a milestone for us. We have 50 customers, 50 systems that have shipped. A lot of them are pilots and test systems, but many of them are in real process operations. We've now got 10 live systems. First system's been running since November 2015. So we really don't think of ourselves as a startup anymore, but as a young, progressive company that can deliver solutions to the market. We also added some software and hardware pieces to expand on our offering and grow the scope and capabilities of the system. So it was a very, very busy year. It was a great year. It's good to be here again.
So this week you've been talking a lot about CyberShield 2.0.
Yes, yes.
Tell us what that is. When and how's that relevant to what we're doing here?
Sure. Yeah. Our system, we call it an open, secure automation system, right? OSA is the term. So so there's several elements to the S, the secure piece of it, some fundamentals, and they include a secure platform and a secure supply chain. And those are the things that we were working on diligently initially. And that's a very hardware-centric effort. And we've written a lot about it in white papers and talked about it to you and others on the intrinsic cyber, the intrinsic approach, the built-in versus bolted-on. Now, that's really dominated the conversation on ICS cyber, so that's good. But these are the fundamentals that if you have a secure platform and a secure supply chain, you can then deploy secure operations. So this is the third aspect. And secure operations, what that means is we deploy transport layer security from the control network up to the applications on workstations and also down to the sensor. So with TLS, transport layer security, and with a certification authority infrastructure that we built also, which is really quite a software-centric product, then we can deploy public key infrastructure to the applications that are in operation. So that means that we can secure engineering environments and SCADA environments which expand and extend the security of the original system. So those are the really important building blocks. So while CyberShield 1.0 was a hardware product, hardware-centric, CyberShield 2.0 is a software product, but it greatly extends the reach of the system. So there's one more piece of that, which we're also showing here at the show, which is extending outside of the machine in what you would call the human factor. So in cybersecurity, the human factor is a high-risk factor. And what that means is the ability for stolen credentials or somebody who's not who they are to have access to a system, and this is a common serious attack vector. So by using this same technology and this root of trust that's in the system and extending it out, we can use biometrics and smart card technologies that will allow the users to define the individuals that are in front of the machines and also then have granularity in role-based access. So you can define the person, the roles that that person is allowed to do at a system level, and then use biometrics and smart cards. And all of that is based on the root of trust that's built in the system. So those are the aspects of CyberShield 2.0. It's really, really quite a substantial piece of technology, and we had a press release on it just today, and we're showing it here at at ARC.
Great. Now,
Yeah.
one of the other topics we have at ARC at Forum is the Internet of Things, right? So
Yes.
does Bedrock have a plan around the Internet of Things, industrial Internet of Things?
Yeah, I mean, much more than a plan. We have a product and we have a solution. So what does that mean? For the Internet of Things, you really, from our perspective, you have to approach it in the same way you would approach the rest of the system, meaning it needs to be open and secure. So let's dig a little deeper. So that means that the fabric, the edge fabric of networks, I/O networks, bus networks, and the edge devices, the actuators and sensors and other intelligent devices that are in the field, how do you make them secure, and how do you make that? So there's a shopping list of approaches in the devices themselves. So they should be anti-tamper. They should have encrypted hardware and firmware. They should be able to communicate over a secure channel. And so those are the basics. We built some edge devices in our power solutions products, a power supply and a UPS, to not only show a complete next generation power, but use that as the vehicle to deploy edge technology security, intrinsic security into the edge. Then the second piece of it is in communications. So because of the architecture of a system, we're able to push high-speed buses and bus technologies all the way down to the I/O bus. There's one single high-performance bus, meaning serial buses, Ethernet buses, of course, HART and other things. So you bring the bus technology as close to the edge, and for Ethernet, which we bring as an I/O channel, then you run secure TLS over this Ethernet between the I/O module and the edge device, and run OPC UA. So again, these are the same kinds of standards and same kinds of technologies that we do at the controller and the controller level to upper networks. We use that for the I/O and for the fabric. So that's our deployment, and it's running, and it's really quite a powerful solution.
Okay. Well, what do you have planned for the coming year?
What do we have planned for the coming year? Wow. This is, we're just telling you how busy we were the last year. This year, it's probably going to be even more so. The pace at which we continue to expand is really exciting. So I would say it's really about validation for the next year. And what I mean by that is technology validation and market validation. In technology, that means we'll be working on SIL certification for safety. We expect to have first level of that this year. ISA Secure, of course, will be working to certify the products in that level. We'll also be expanding the size of the system, so we'll be working more on DCS class of projects with large I/O and redundant I/O and redundant control and redundant networks. So we'll be releasing the firmware that supports large systems. We're also working on expanded protocols, so whether it's Foundation Field Bus or Profinet or DeviceNet or whatever as the market needs, we've built the infrastructure to deploy these buses. And working with the ExxonMobil OPA, so we've been working on some of that. So these are some of the technology efforts. And then in security, we'll be working on, well, sorry, just go back to that. Let me talk about market validation. So market validation to us is continuing to expand on our vertical penetration, getting larger orders, more customers, having geographical expansion into Europe, the Middle East, and other places. And recently we announced a partnership with Jacobs Engineering, which is an example of partnering with companies that have a global footprint, and we can punch above our weight and start working on large-scale projects. Those are the kinds of things that we'll work on commercially. And then the last thing will be relative to security, where we will demonstrate the open system concept in security. And here at the show, we're showing 3S from Germany, and M&M software from Germany, a frame application and an engineering environment that's compliant to our secure platform. We're also working with inductive automation, Iconics, and others that want to use our platform so that they can release products that will be secure using our open secure technologies. So that's going to be an important part for us. So those are some of the activities that we expect to be involved in the next year. So you can see that's a lot. That's a lot to do, but we're very, very excited about it.
Wow, sounds exciting. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining us for a conversation with Albert Rooyakkers, CTO and co-founder of Bedrock Automation.